So, the difference between the I and the me. The I is our being. The I is who we are without the labels that we attach to ourselves. Our soul, our being, without any of the labels. The me is who we think we are by our attachment to our labels. The I exists without any labels. So we, as beings, I, you as an I, we exist independent of any labels that we choose to attach to ourselves. The me is me, you as a me, with the labels. So the labels meaning how we identify ourselves, the work that we do, our culture, where we live, the money that we make, the education that we have, the labels that we attach to ourselves to give us a sense of identity. I can identify myself based upon the labels, and I can identify you based upon the labels. That's the me that we choose to identify as me or as you as a me. And then the I is who we are without all of the labels. So that is a constant. That exists independently of any of the labels, any of the things that we attach to ourselves and that we make our identity. And that is true, because if I didn't have labels or you didn't have labels, you and I would still exist. We do exist. We exist as beings without labels. The labels are the me, which is what we attach ourselves to. And that's what disconnects us from ourselves and from others. Because if I see myself as a me and not as an I, and I see you as a me and not as an I, now my labels have to match up with your labels, because we're labeling each other. And if my label doesn't match up with your label, or labels, or vice versa, we're disconnected. They're from a different culture. They speak a different language. They have a different job, or they do different work. They're not the same age. Those are labels. But as beings, we exist independently of those labels. But if we use the labels to connect us or disconnect us, they're not stable. So we're in this constant state of it matches or it doesn't match. And if it matches, we feel good. If it doesn't match, we don't feel good about ourselves or about the connection with others. Because we're choosing to label it. We're choosing to tell ourselves, well, I'm this and you're that. But labels change. They shift. And we're not in control of that. We may label ourselves one way, and someone else may label us another way, and they may have a completely different interpretation of that label, and vice versa. We can do that with other people. And so when you realize that, you realize that the separation is in our heads. If we simply release those labels and release the attachment to the labels and to the identity that we believe we have, we exist as beings. That's the I. And that is there. It just is. So I think of it as the soul is the I, and the ego is the me. So if we connect with ourselves on the basis of the I, of the soul, we can connect with others on the basis of the I and the soul. But if we use our ego and we use the me, we're connected and we're disconnected based upon that which is in our head. We're making it up. And if we connect with ourselves and with others on the basis of the I, on the basis of the soul, we can simply choose to connect with that experience or not. So someone may be having a different experience, and we may not wish to connect with that experience or that frequency, but then there's no longer judgment or labeling. It's simply an experience. And then we're free. We're free in our heart, and we allow ourselves to be free. We release our attachment to me so we can be an I, and then we release the attachment and the labels for others. We allow them to be I, and then we connect as I. Instead of the me, which is the labeling and the ego, we're coming at it from our soul.